And greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Apptrepreneur Show. I am your host, Kevin, the Apptrepreneur. Welcome to your near daily dose of apps, tech, and even a little bit of entertainment on the side, like a nice little dessert dish. You know, it's just always nice to have there. And I say near daily because there was no show yesterday. There also, spoiler alert, will not be a show tomorrow. Now, here's the good news. As stated in the episode from a couple days ago, we will be spreading out videos, so those of you who missed those shows can catch replays over the weekend. We did post one of them yesterday, and it definitely did pretty well. And, you know, before we start talking about the topics, I'm going to address something that, I don't think I should have to address, but darn it if I'm not going to anyway, because, I got just enough people making this comment that I kind of had to scratch my head and go like, why is this a thing? So anyway, I am hugely anti-Amazon. Totally anti-Amazon. I do not like this company. I think the world would be a better place, honestly, if Amazon were to go away. I really do. I think we've learned some good lessons for how to have good customer service on Amazon, how to ship things efficiently, and now that we've learned that, I think we should just let them go away. I don't think they do a whole lot of good for the world. Let everyone have their own little businesses. Let's stop letting this one company control 50% or more of the market. But here's the thing. I shared a video about how I had an unfair A to Z claim on my account, and I was discussing it. And a lot of people were like, wait, you hate Amazon and yet you have an Amazon store? Like, how's that work? And I'm kind of amazed that it even needs to be mentioned. So here's the thing. How does that work? Well, here's the thing. Let me ask you a question, and now my nose is all of a sudden itching. Of course it is. How many of you here hate Uber and Lyft and Postmates and DoorDash? Particularly Uber, though. Now, how many of you complain about how Uber does nothing but screw you? Now, here's another question. How many of you drive for them anyway? Quite a few. Quite a few of you who do not like Uber, Lyft, or these companies will still drive for them. And here's the thing. It's not even... Uber is like not only just controlling the market, they are the market. If you're not on Uber in the gig economy and you want to do this, you have no other choice but to go with them. Now, I have e-commerce stores. I'm on eBay, Shopify, Mercari, Blue Jay. I've stopped dealing with Craigslist, and I'm on Amazon, and I'm on a couple of other e-commerce sites as well. Now then, I average about $4,000 a month on e-commerce. $4,000 a month, and that's pretty good. Considering the cost of the merchandise, the pocket, the take-home's a little bit less, but that's not too bad. Now then, would you venture, and I have like 9 e-commerce stores. How much of that $4,000 do you think comes from Amazon? Here's the thing. Half. It's half. And this is the problem with monopolies. I don't like Amazon. I would frankly prefer not to work with Amazon, but when you have a monopoly, you're forced to go there sometimes. You don't want to go there, but you have to go there. Just like the people here who do rideshare and stuff, they don't like Uber. They'd rather not work for Uber, but Uber has more than 50% of the market in most cases. That's where you're going to get your business. And it's not fair, and I don't like it. Now, I do not buy from Amazon. I do not partake in their services. I just sell on Amazon. They have enough clout and they bring me enough money that is worth it to me. But I would look forward to the day where the Amazon store brought in so little money that I would never have to think about it again. But I don't. Pretty consistently, with very few exceptions, Amazon brings in half the money from my e-commerce stores. Sometimes More than half. There are months where 75 to 80% of that $4,000 average comes from Amazon. So, that's just what it is. Now, Mike here says drivers don't have a right to complain if they drive. I don't completely agree with that. Although, I will say, the thing about drivers, to be frank, that annoys me a little is that some people have been here for a long, long time. And some of these people, not all, but some, have been saying how much Uber screwed them, the bad place they put them in, how much debt they're into. And they have had a year or two to look for something else. And they don't do that. Now, here's the thing. You have a right to complain about Uber, whether you drive or not. That is my opinion. You can complain about anything. It's a free country. If something is not working out for you, and you spend a long time not even attempting to change your situation, then maybe you don't have a right to complain. But saying that you don't have a right to complain if you drive, I mean, that's a weird one, because it's like, are you going to tell like a voter like they have no right to complain about the president just because they voted for Trump? No, they have every right to complain about him if they want to. I mean, they voted for him. They have every right. And if they didn't vote for him, well, they can still complain, because guess what? That's a free country. So I didn't think that this needed to be said. I thought it was pretty obvious, but there you go. I don't buy from Amazon. I don't partake in the Amazon services, but I do sell on Amazon because here's the reality. They control the e-commerce market. And if you're not on Amazon, you might still make something, and I would still make something if I wasn't on the Amazon seller market, but I will not make nearly as much. That's how powerful they are. So some might say that's violating principles. I don't know. I just think it's very much like Uber. They've got you. They've grabbed you where the sun don't shine. They won't let go, and you're not very powerful enough to say no to that if you want to make money doing something. Thankfully, the e-commerce, of course, is a side thing. I have multiple different ways I make money, but as long as it lasts, I would still like to make that money on Amazon. My nose is really, that's going to be annoying. Like, have you ever had that thing where like that nose just itches? Like, ugh. So, and Gig Life said, people have the right to complain about anything they want. It's called freedom of speech. Yes, they do. Although I will say, if you get sick out there and you weren't doing some basic things to not be sick, the complaining might be ironic at the very least. So, and anyway, I believe I've been very consistent about my views on Amazon. And here's the other thing. I have never pretended that I didn't sell on there. I have been very open. Yeah, I sell on Amazon. In fact, this is one of the reasons why I have a problem with Amazon. Because, at least in terms of the selling, I am in that ecosystem, and I get most of my sales from them, and I would really like to get away from them. However, they control the market, so you can't unless you want to give up $2,000 a month on average, which a lot of you probably wouldn't. So, anyway, that's me. Hey, Abstract Echo, how you doing? Anyway, with that said, boy, people are going to have to like watch a while before they get to like the main topic. Let's talk about the first main topic. The main reason I decided to break my 3-day break and actually do an episode of the show. So I was on Twitter, which I admit you really should not be on Twitter. And I saw Gig Workers Rising, and they mentioned how Uber and the gig companies, sorry, now I've got the hiccups all of a sudden, have finally started launching their ads to appeal AB5, which we now know it's going to be called Proposition 22. Now, the reason they're complaining is because they did a search on their own site, and they see this ad on the top. Vote yes on Proposition 22, which Gig Workers Rising are clearly not going to be okay with Prop 22. In fact, you can see it in their picture right there. They have a vote no on 22. So, they're not okay with this. And I decide, okay, well, you know what? The campaign has officially launched. I have been expressing what I thought the campaign was going to look like for a long time, so maybe it's a good time as any to actually look at the Yes on 22 campaign and see exactly what it is we're dealing with. So, this is the website, voteyesprop22.com, which the slogan is Save App-Based Jobs and Services, which of course is completely misleading because these jobs aren't going to go away if Prop 22 doesn't pass. They will look different, and we can debate whether that's a good thing or not, but they're not going to go away. So anyway, here's what the site says. Drastic new legislation takes away the ability of app-based drivers to work as independent contractors, putting hundreds of thousands of jobs at risk and threatening the availability of rideshare and food delivery services. Yes, on Prop 22 protects the ability of app-based drivers to choose independent work, provides drivers new protections and benefits, saves hundreds of thousands of CA jobs, preserves the availability of food and grocery delivery and rideshare services that millions rely on, and implements strong new public safety protections. So we're going to look over these points. So first of all, protect the ability of app-based drivers to choose independent work. Well, I mean, maybe it would in a sense, but the thing is, unless the gig companies decided they wanted to be a jerk, and admittingly, I think Uber would probably benefit from this the most because, again, like talked about earlier, that whole, they got you, they're the number one, you want your business, you want to be on Uber in this industry. But unless those companies decide that they want to say you can't work for another app company because you're now an employee, well, then this wouldn't really matter. It just wouldn't. So that would be on the companies to decide to do that. Now, the second thing, provides drivers new protections and benefits. Well, they keep saying that. We don't know what they actually look like yet, though, because we've all seen what Uber and Lyft's idea of protection is, and they helped write this bill. So it will save hundreds of thousands of CA jobs. This is probably true, but here's the thing. The vast majority of people who would get kicked off the platform if they had to become officially employees would be the people who only worked a couple days a week. And, you know, the thing is, Uber and Lyft could certainly find a place for those people if they want to just have part-timers out there. So I don't know how true this is. Preserves the availability of food and grocery delivery and rideshare services that millions rely on. Well, the availability might go down, but if there is a demand and there is a paying customer base, then Uber and Lyft could easily fix this. Postmates too, for that matter. Well, Postmates is now Uber, so you know. See what I mean about monopolies? Implement strong new public safety protections. You know, they mentioned this twice. So is there a difference between the two? I don't know. Anyway, let's take a look at this YouTube video and see what an ad looks like.
My day starts early. From 6 a.m. till 10, I'm doing deliveries. From 12 till 2, doing homework. And then after that, I'll be working again. I need this kind of independent work and control over my schedule so I can pay my pay my tuition and stay focused in school. I'm delivering food and groceries, but it's so much more than that. Right now, people need a hand. Some politicians are putting all that at risk. And it wouldn't just hurt me, it would hurt the people we serve. Politicians just don't get it. We need to protect this critical work.
All right, let's, oh, hey, look, Torsten. So, let's look at this again, and I'll discuss some of the points here.
My day starts early. From 6 a.m. till 10, I'm doing deliveries.
6 a.m. to 10 p.m. That doesn't sound like a lot of flexibility right there. You know, so that's more than 12 hours. So okay.
From 12 till 2, doing homework, and then after that, I'll be working again.
Okay, so the point on that one is like, hey, I'm working all day, but hey, gig work gives me the flexibility, like between 12 and 2, I can do do my homework. Well, okay, well, let's look at this with a logical conclusion. If you worked a real job, you could work 8 hours from 6 a.m. to, I think that's 3. Is it 3? 3? I'm so bad at math. I am so bad at math. But, you get done way before 10. That's the bottom line. And those hours, well, now you can do your homework. So you could have a real job, work from 6 to 3. Actually, no. 6 would be like 2:30 if you took a 30-minute lunch. So, but then you would have from 3, because let's assume it takes some time to get home, to 10 to do your homework. So in reality, you have a lot more flexibility with your full-time job when it comes to schoolwork, if that's what's going to do. Is there anything that says you have to do your homework at 2 hours in the middle of the day? Because, what I'm wondering at this point is if you're working from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and you're spending 2 hours of that time doing your homework, where's the school? Like, when do you have time to go to school? He doesn't mention how, I have a class at this time and I have a class at this time, and so a full-time job would not be beneficial to me. He just points out this arbitrary 2-hour block where he does homework, and realistically, if you just do an 8-hour job, you could do that in the evening. So, that's one problem with this video. And let's see, what else?
I need this kind of independent work and control over my schedule.
Again, I just pointed out why you probably don't. You have not actually expressed anything in which a gig work job would be required for you to do what you're doing.
So I can pay my bills, pay my tuition, and stay focused in school.
Okay, so a real-time job would pay your bills, it would pay your tuition, it would probably do more so, and in fact, if you worked 12 hours a day, you would get paid time and a half. So, there's other ways you can pay your tuition. They're acting like jobs don't exist, and it's like, now let's see what else is going on.
I'm delivering food and groceries, but it's so much more than that.
You're giving people a ride for free with how little they pay you.
Right now, people need a hand. Some politicians are putting all that at risk. And it wouldn't just hurt me, it would hurt the people we serve.
I do agree that some people would probably be affected by this, because if 22 passes, they would definitely have to pay more for these services. But these services would still be around. And they might not be as available. But there are some things where it's like this isn't as needed. Yeah, it's nice when you can have the groceries and pick them up for grandma. But then there's people who get Chick-fil-A and McDonald's delivered. They can pick it up themselves. It's not like that's going to hurt them that much. It's just going to make them a little less lazy.
Politicians just don't get it. We need to protect this critical work.
Okay, well, I'm not a politician, and I still don't get it. At least I don't get it the way you're wording it. So anyway, let's look at more what's going on. So, helping neighbors, rideshare, and delivery drivers. Now, they have driver stories and customers. So let's view more driver stories. I bet you will see at least a few of the people that were at the anti-AB5 rally in here. So, Llewellyn H. from San Diego said, "The flexibility allows me to be there for my family while making a good amount of money to supplement my retirement." And again, I want to point out, if you're retired, obviously Uber and Lyft is probably nice. It's really just something to do. What, of course, retired people don't always do is they don't always look at, what they're putting into rideshare and what they're getting out of it. Most of the time, people think they're making a lot of money, and they're really putting more into it than they realize. So anyway, so Joaquin, and these are all California-based, of course, because this is a California thing, says, "Having the flexibility to work when I can driving has been a life changer. To me, having the flexibility to work when I can driving has been a life changer. I've been able to combine family time as well as earning extra cash to keep supporting my family. The extra support has come a long way for me, my wife and my kids to buy necessary things like shoes, clothing, food, etc. I'm a father of 3 and I'm 100% support the ability to work and earn. Thank you, Joaquin." Could they have at least cleaned up the spelling in that one. Being able to, and from Kenneth, being able to supplement my income via the rideshare app is vital to my family's survivability. I am a commercial real estate agent as COVID-19 stormed the U.S. and cities instituted the stay-at-home policy. Commercial box office buildings suffered tremendously, and so did I. I could not farm or close any real estate transactions, therefore being able to supplement my income via my rideshare app is vital to my family's survivability. Well, okay, couple things. Well, first of all, Kenneth, Uber's not going to supplement all that money that you are making on real estate. Just not. But here's the other thing. Like, now, that is, like, actually, like, the worst thing to do, because it's like, look, taking your word at it, seems like you got hit a pretty bad deal with the COVID-19, and, okay, now you can do Uber and you can make something, but it's not even a fraction. It can't even be a fraction, because rideshare is down way, way big. Like, there's almost no one doing it right now. In fact, we have another topic today about that. So, you're not supplementing much of anything. So, throw that one out the window. Shakosha, I hope I did that properly. She does food. And that just says, a great way to help me stay above the water and pay my bills. I love the rideshare and delivery business. It has helped me out tremendously with being able to feed and care for my 5 children. During this COVID outbreak, it was a great way to help me stay above water and pay the bills that were piling up. Oh, I'm not going to argue too much with that one. When you need a little extra money, yeah, it can be. And so we have so many stories here. We have a video one. Let's see this one.
Jimmy, and I'm a Lyft driver. I love my flexibility as a driver out here. I love making my own hours. It's about the only job I can do where I can be flexible with my time and my hours. I have neuropathy and fibromyalgia, and having that flexibility of not going in, you don't get that with just any regular job. I love driving for Lyft, and I love being an independent contractor.
Well, I'm glad you like that, Jimmy. Get back to me when they deactivate you, because they deactivate everyone. So there's just so many. I'm not seeing too many people I'm familiar with here, but yep, we've got trying to see if there's like, there are a lot of stories. So they are just taking in story after story after story. So, all right, now let's go back and let's see what they're doing with the customer. Tell us your story about how essential rideshare and delivery drivers have helped you as a customer. So there does not appear to be any stories on that one. It'll be interesting to see what the stories look like when they actually show up. Now they state the facts, so I guess we'll go over these real quick. The facts: protects access to affordability and convenient rideshare and delivery services. Actually, yes, I think that's true. Because here's the thing, it allows Uber and Lyft to continue to totally rob the drivers. The prices can be artificially low, while Uber and Lyft and Postmates and DoorDash still take a vast majority of the money. So I actually agree with that. At the expense of the drivers, it will protect access and affordability on this. Another fact: protects driver flexibility and independence. Yes and no. Again, if Uber and Lyft and DoorDash want to give their employees flexibility, like say maybe set up blocks, that might be an idea, they could do so. But yeah, if 22 passes, then it will also protect their flexibility. So, again, yes and no. Establishes an earnings guarantee for drivers with the ability to earn even more. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that you will get like a bare minimum and you won't get anything else. But the prices will certainly go for Uber and Lyft customers. Requires new benefits such as a healthcare contribution and compensation for on-the-job injuries. Well, I mean, that could be set up without 22 passing, but we know how the companies are. Implements additional safety protection for drivers, passengers, and all Californians. I don't know exactly what that means, because it's like, the protections are wear your seatbelt, don't drink and drive, wear your mask, drive properly. It isn't Europe, or if it is Europe, it isn't America. So I don't know what that means. So you can download a fact sheet. This is a PDF that's loading. And yeah, so you have all this information. Well, it's not that much information. It's 2 pages apparently. And you can set your email. Here's a phone number. Now, the collision, is that the driver's story? So here's the collision. More than 75,000 app-based drivers and the following organizers support Proposition 22. And, that's kind of an interesting thing, is that, yeah, when you have as many drivers as you have, and most of them don't watch videos like mine, yeah, you can put a number like 75,000, and it's like, yeah, but there's just as much that easily don't like this thing. So here's community advocates, senior advocates, business and taxpayer, public safety, and technology. When it comes to technology, these are the people who are supporting this. The Internet Association, TechNet, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Instacart, Postmates. All right. You have the facts. Okay, Q&A. Let's look at the Q&A real quick. What is Proposition 22? Proposition 22 is a statewide ballot measure aimed for the November 2020 California ballot. Proposition 22 would protect the right of app-based rideshare and delivery drivers to choose flexible work as independent contractors, preserve access to earning opportunities for struggling Californians needing to supplement lost income or job, provides drivers new benefits and protections in these tough economic times, including a minimum earnings guarantee, access to healthcare benefits, and insurance against illness and injuries acquired on the job. Implement new safety protection for consumers of the public, including providing for reoccurring background checks of drivers, mandatory safety training, and zero tolerance for drug, alcohol, and other offenses. I thought there already was a zero tolerance for that anyway. Protect the availability of app-based home delivery services that are providing food, medicine, and groceries to those in need, and the rideshare services getting essential workers to their jobs and keeping drunk and impaired drivers off our roadways, which I thought they already tried to do. I'm going to say something. One thing I was really expecting right now was I was expecting them to really be pushing the costs. Like, I thought they would be making front and center, like, how much more expensive your Uber was going to get. And that's how you were going to convince people to vote yes on 22. But I haven't seen very little of that. And maybe it's still coming, but I find that odd. Why is Prop 22 needed? A new state law threatens essential app-based home delivery and rideshare drivers and earning opportunities at the worst possible time. App-based food and grocery delivery and rideshare platforms are providing essential services, delivering food and medicines to seniors and families who are forced to stay in their homes, helping restaurants survive, and providing easy access to earning opportunities for struggling Californians who have recently lost income or jobs. Yeah, helping restaurants to survive. You're not going to talk about how these delivery apps take like up to 70% of the bill, and most restaurants lose money when you order through these delivery apps, right? Not going to mention that. AB5, the new law, attempts to prohibit app-based drivers from working as independent contractors with control over their schedules, instead forcing Californians who want to keep driving to become employees with rigid schedules and set shifts. So, in doing so, this law would eliminate the flexibility and independence many drivers' lives require, putting these services and earnings opportunity at risk. Or you could do the blocks, which actually I think DoorDash was doing that for a while. So, how will drivers benefit from Proposition 22? Yeah, this I've got to hear. Proposition 22 would protect the right of app-based rideshare and delivery drivers to work as independent contractors if certain criteria are met, such as control over their own hours and when, where, how long they work, and the ability to work multiple platforms. In addition to current law for independent contractors denies companies the ability to balance this flexibility with the security many worker protections, such as guaranteed hourly earnings and benefits that are important, especially in these uncertain economic times. The funny thing is, like they say, like the current law for independent contractors denies companies a balance. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Like, they're acting like whatever. Because that's what Uber does. I mean, how many times have you heard Uber say, like, we need to protect our drivers, we need to have health benefits, have to have this? People say, well, why don't you do that? It's like, oh, no, we need a law to do that. It's like, no, you can do that. You can totally do that if you want. Proposition 22 changes state law to require app-based rideshare drivers and delivery service to offer new protections and benefits to drivers, including earnings guarantee. Drivers always receive at least an amount equal to 120% of... No, wait, that's not true. Plus 30 cents per mile compensation towards expenses with the potential to earn more and no limits of how much drivers can make. Right. Healthcare contribution equal to 100% of the average employer payment toward a covered California plan, or $367 per month to a driver on average. Drivers start earning this amount at 15 hours per week and reach the full amount at 25 hours per week. Equal to one, or $367 per month. $367 per month. Like, why are you even in this industry? Drivers can earn multiple contributions from multiple platforms. The healthcare provision in Proposition 22 is more generous than state and federal laws, which only require healthcare to be provided to those working at least 30 hours per week, with no benefits to part-time worker. Occupational accident insurance to cover injuries and illness acquired on the job, which you can get already. Automobile accident and liability insurance, you can get already. Protection against discrimination and sexual harassment, that's the law. You've already got that. Do drivers support Proposition 22? Yes, some of them do, obviously. And who else? All these other. How will the healthcare component work? So there's a lot. There's a lot of things. So okay, let me kind of go back over here real quick. How much longer do you want us to do this? I do have some other topics. Wonder if they're all paid actors. Let's see here. Hard for customer to get an Uber or Lyft. Love how they leave out during engaged time only as well as earnings. Well, they actually do have something that. Let's look at how some of these things would work. I mean, I kind of figured we'd be spending more time on this than most of the topics here. So, how will the healthcare component of these benefits work? The healthcare benefits are consistent with what employers are required to provide under the Affordable Care Act. Oh, jeez, drivers are screwed. In fact, the healthcare provision in Proposition 22 is more generous than state and federal laws, which only require healthcare to be provided to those working at least 30 hours per week with no benefits for part-time drivers. Drivers would earn a healthcare contribution equal to 100% of the average employer payment towards a covered California plan, or $367 per month to a driver on average. Okay, drivers start earning this amount at 15 hours per week and reach the full amount at 25 hours per week. They can also earn multiple contributions if they work with multiple platforms. Okay, how would Proposition 22 consumers in the public? What seems like there's a word missing there. How would Proposition 22 consumers in the public? Anyway, let's see what their answer to this weirdly worded question is. App-based food and grocery delivery and rideshare drivers are providing essential services, delivering food and medicines to seniors and families who are forced to stay in their homes, helping restaurants survive, and providing easy access to earning opportunities for struggling Californians who have recently lost income or jobs. By promoting worker flexibility and economic security, Proposition 22 will protect the availability of app-based home delivery services that are providing food, medicine, and groceries to those in need, and the rideshare services getting essential workers to their job and keeping drunk and impaired drivers off the roadways. So basic, like, stuff that's happening right now anyway. And stuff that would happen anyway. How would Proposition 22 protect public safety? State law also makes it difficult for rideshare and delivery network companies to implement many customers and public safety protections. This is an interesting one. Proposition 22 would implement new customer and public safety protections. Proposition 22 would provide for reoccurring background checks for drivers, mandatory safety training for drivers, zero tolerance for alcohol and drug offenses, and a cap on driver hours per day to help prevent sleeping drivers. Which one of these is not being done? I mean, here's the thing, let's kind of step back for a second. Because they're saying, hey, Proposition 22 would provide a background check for the driver, reoccurring one. It would mandate safety training for the drivers. It would have a zero tolerance for alcohol and drug offenses, and it would put a cap on driver hours per day to help prevent sleepy driving. If I'm an average person, I'm reading this, I'm asking, Wait, this isn't being done already? Like, I would love to print this up and take it to Dar Khosrowshahi and say, are you not doing this? And if he looks at me horrified and says, oh no, of course we're doing this, it's like, well, then why do I need to vote on this? You're already doing this. This is what you're supposed to be doing anyway. I mean, this is worded in a way where it's kind of like, so Uber, Lyft, and Postmates, DoorDash, all these companies, they don't do these things? They're not doing mandatory safety training for drivers? They're not doing background checks? They don't have a zero tolerance for alcohol and drug offenses? Derp, derp, derp. Man, this is actually more fun than I thought it would be. Does Proposition 22 apply to all workers? No, it's only for people who are designated independent contractors. Why is Proposition 22 narrowly crafted for just on-demand rideshare and delivery network companies and drivers? I don't think that needs to be explained. What's the rationale behind 120% above the minimum wage? Now, this is interesting. This is a minimum hourly earnings guarantee, and drivers will regularly earn more and have the confidence of knowing they can do no worse than this standard while engaged in this work. Plus, Proposition 22 requires 100% of tips be paid on top of minimum earnings and guarantee, payments of 30 cents per mile for expenses, a healthcare contribution, and occupational accident insurance for on-the-job injuries. Well, except for the healthcare contribution, they're already doing all this. Already doing all this, except for the 120%. That doesn't happen often. What time will drivers be paid for? Real Rideshare Stories brought this up in the chat. Drivers will receive pay from the time they accept a delivery or ride to the time they drop the order or passenger off, so as it's working now. This includes the time drivers are en route to pick up and drop off. Paying for this engaged time ensures drivers are being paid for the time they're actually driving passenger deliveries, but not for the time where they may have the app open or are not accepting work or are working on another platform. Yeah, so. Well, in all fairness, one of the things about 22 is that, they want to keep things the way they are, so, that's why. Will tips be included in your calculation of minimum wage? Now, they say no, but Uber and Lyft and other companies have routinely said yes, so not about 22, but in their earnings, they say, well, with the tips, you make this much, and so, yeah, they're probably thinking of the tips in there somewhere. How does accidental insurance and other benefits work? We all know this. What are the details of the safety training? Yeah, this is great. Proposition 22 would provide for mandatory safety training. The safety training required by this section shall include the following subjects: collision avoidance and defensive driving techniques, identification of collision-causing elements such as excessive speed, DUI, and distracted driving, recognition and reporting of sexual assault and misconduct. For on-demand drivers delivering prepared food or groceries, food safety information relevant to the driver of food, including the temperature control. Yeah, but what does the training actually look like? Because if I didn't know any better, I'd say the way this is worded, that if you had a YouTube video that discussed all this, then technically you're doing driver safety training. And I think a lot of everyday citizens would not consider that real training. So it's worded in a very specific way to avoid exactly what this is. Let's see, we've got the newsroom, and I guess these are all the news. Oh, the Sacramento Bee. Oh, hold on one second. Excuse me. So, yep, you got the newsroom, initiative text, and here's the important thing. Here, you can read the text. Now, we're not going to read this right now. We might do another live stream later, though, where we actually read that. This is 21 pages, so it's a lot to look through, but we will probably be reading this at some point. And no, I do not want to restart my PC right now. So anyway, and then you can join their Facebook or their Twitter, or if you want, you can even view the page in Spanish. The video's in Spanish now, right?
My day starts early from 6 a.m. to 10.
Oh,
I'm doing deliveries.
fail. Absolute fail. Oh, anyway, that's what the Yes on 22 website looks like right now. And it's, as someone like me, it's like, it totally looks like propaganda. Of course it's going to. One of these days we'll probably look over the No 122 page, but for now, I am a little surprised that they are not they're not emphasizing that Uber, Postmates, all this stuff would cost a lot more money to do. I thought for sure that would be the angle they were going with. But instead they're trying to sound sympathetic to the drivers, which I don't know how far that's going to go, because when you go to the No on 22 campaign, you're going to find just as many drivers who do not like 22, and you're going to need to think of something else to sell this on. But anyway, I would like to know what all of you think about this site and everything. You know the drill. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. As always, flame responsibly. All right, let me see some of the comments here. We got let's see here. So let's see here. Righteous Story says, as well as earnings floor from the compensation doesn't get paid out. Already those protecting safety. Uberman Tampa says, doesn't mean they'll send you any ride or give hours. Yes, exactly. Real Righteous Story says, only during engaged time, not online time. Again, they leave that part out. Well, they did mention that at some point. He also says, I'd like to see this effective 1 month just to see if it's worth it or worse for drivers. Test it out would be I agree that a trial run would be best for this, but unfortunately, that's just not how this works. Green says, distracted driving, LOL. Okay, then for all cell phone junkies out there, including Uber driver. Yep. Let's see here. Real rideshare story, early poll. Will Prop 22 pass and CA 111 for yes, 333 for... Yeah, like, do you think Prop 22 will pass? 111 for yes, 333 for no. Yeah, like, let's do this, and then I'll share my opinion on... I'll say whether I think it's going to pass or not. So, but let's kind of get like a little, thing. Danny says, yeah, because it's so hard for a customer to get an Uber or Life or any other taxi. Exactly. So, let's see here. So, Uberman Tampa says, people cannot stay off the phone while driving, and says 111. So he thinks it will pass. Abstract Echo believes it will pass. Or it will go yes. So, he thinks it will be yes. Now here's the thing. If you think, well, I'm not going to ask you how you're going to vote on it. That's really your personal thing. And Real Righteous Story says 111. I'm going to go 111. I think it will pass. I think it will pass. And I think it's going to pass for two reasons. First of all, you have an uneducated general public, and as cruel as this sounds, you have very, very uneducated drivers. Because, there's a lot of drivers. Look, here's the thing. There is a real reason why UberTuber is really not a thing anymore, if you really get down to it. It's because the vast majority of people who drive for Uber don't care. They're not, and it makes sense. Here's the thing. Like, if you worked at McDonald's, would you be talking about making videos about what it's like working at McDonald's? Probably not, assuming they would let you, of course. So I think a lot of Uber drivers, like, no, they're not looking about how to make more money or whether or not the company's screwing them or not. They're just turning the app on and they're going to get some beer money. That's what they're doing. So so I think that's what's going to happen. I think the drivers who are educated, who sees that this is probably not a good thing. Some drivers who are educated might feel differently, and that's fine. They do not match with the sheer amount of people who would not be okay with this. So anyway, it's kind of how should I put this? Yeah, so recently in California, in the last election, we voted on this thing where there was a bill that said that emergency workers, such as ambulance drivers enough, could could not turn off their walkie-talkies and speakers for a couple hours while they were on their breaks. Now, the reason this passed, and they made it so that all these emergency service providers had to answer you even if they were on their lunch, is because from people's perspective, and I talked to someone who I was working with, and they said this, like, well, if I'm in trouble, I want them to help me. And it's like, yes, but here's the thing. This is not really an issue because they have enough public safety people out there so that the people who are on lunch can take their naps. And here's the thing. When you tell people that they have to be on call during their lunches, most emergency medics, firemen, police officers, they use that time to sleep and to get rest so that they are rested when they have to go save your butt. And if they are not rested, that will cause more problems in the long run. So, but the average person doesn't look at the nuance of something like that. They just say, well, if I'm in danger, I want to be saved. So that's, we have double MM here. So welcome. By the way, if anyone hasn't given a thumbs up, feel free to do so. And who remain in Tampa and Real Rideshare Stories will not vote on these things. That's fine. I mean, well, we remain in Tampa's in Florida. So anyway, I did have other topics, but I think I'm not going to do them because this video is already almost 50 minutes. And I think this is like a good, considering how long this has been going on. I might do one more topic just so I can get a video for my other channel right now, since we're going to since we're online. So we'll do one more topic and then we'll wrap this up. Otherwise, this is pretty much going to be its own video. So, main topic number 2. This will be really quickly. One of the things that I've been saying during these live streams and everything, when I see people crowding the bars, crowding the beaches, not following the rules at Disneyland, I jokingly keep saying, well, I guess I'm not seeing Tenet in July. Well, I guess I'm not seeing Tenet in August. I really want to see Tenet. Well, Tenet got delayed indefinitely, and I'm pretty sure Mulan is just around the corner. Sheesh, I'm even looking forward to seeing Mulan. That's how much I miss the movie theaters. Well, AMC and Cineworld, who owns Regal, have announced that they are delaying reopening their movie theaters again. So according to Reuters, AMC Entertainment Holdings said on Thursday it has delayed the reopening of its movie theaters in the United States to mid to late August in alignment with the new release dates of Disney's Mulan and Christopher Nolan's thriller Tenet. UK Cineworld also pushed its U.S. reopening date to mid-August, although the company remains on track to welcome back moviegoers in Britain at the end of the month. Movie theaters across the world were shuttered, yada yada, and about 1/3 of AMC cinemas in Europe and the Middle East are already open and operating normally. Now, we talked about this a few days ago, and we talked about how the perfect date to reopen the theaters may never come. And that theaters and movie studios are going to have to start thinking outside the box. The theaters might have to be content with being open and just showing classic movies for a while. And here's the thing. People will come to see classic movies. Now, you can't do that forever. But for the first couple months, I think classic movies would be enough. People are cooped up. They want to get out. And, there probably will be sold out showings because of that they can't sell so many seats. But that would bring in some money and bring some confidence back. What's more, they could do other things. Maybe they could start turning their parking lots into drive-in movie theaters like Walmart is. And studios might have to give up on this notion of day and day it's everywhere. They might have to do like a rollout thing, and yeah, there's going to be spoilers, and yeah, there's going to be piracy, but you're just going to have to take that chance. No perfect day is going to come. So if they keep delaying, they will not recover from this. They will not recover. And this seems like self-inflicted wounds. At some point, you just have to say, we're opening back up. And hey, you know what? AMC has a lot of AMC dine-ins. They can deliver food as well. I mean, Chuck E. Cheese is delivering food under Pasquale's. I mean, it didn't save them for bankruptcy, but I mean, hey, they're doing something. The theaters have to do something at this point too. Start thinking outside the box. Convert your theaters to drive-in movies or something. Start delivering food. But you just can't keep delaying this, waiting for Tenet and Mulan. And the studios, by the way, also have to realize that, you know what? They might have to take a bath on those. Now, if I were Warner Brothers, I would still release Tenet this year because talk about pretty much a guaranteed Oscar win. That's how you get Christopher Nolan his Oscar. But otherwise, you have a bunch of low-budget movies. I think it's interesting that the low-budget movies have been going straight to streaming. When it's like, the low-budget movies are the kind of movies you can put out during this time. Because it's like, look, they're not that expensive. You don't need to be selling out theaters to make money back on them. And it kind of gets people used to going to the theaters again. And yet, they blew that load on straight to streaming, where most of them did really poorly. So I don't know what the theaters are thinking, and they're going to need to do something about this very, very soon. But anyway, would like to know what you think about all that. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. As always, flame responsibly. And with that out of the way, I believe we are pretty much done with the topics. So, I'll save the rest of these for... I don't think I'm going to be doing... Maybe I'll do one tomorrow. I don't know, but we'll see. So, anyway, I think there's a huge conversation. Real Rideshare Story says, as long as I get to watch Black Widow on November 6th, give me my Scarlett Johansson. I do not think that that you will be seeing the Black Widow on the 6th. So, Uberman says, your camera needs focusing. Does it? I'm looking at that, and it hold on one second. I'm trying to see what you're talking about. Oh, I moved. I moved. That's what happened. So, anyway, and I don't know who Double MM is, honestly, but so anyway, but certainly seems to be the life of the party in the chat room, though. We'll say that. So, you're late. It's fine now. Well, there's a delayed reaction. That's what's going on. So anyway, folks, I think that's where we're going to end this. So, I don't want to be doing too many topics because this video is long enough. It's like I'm just doing that other one so I can put it on the Failed Journalist. Otherwise, this video was pretty much just looking over that website. So, All right, folks, thank you for joining me. Once again, I would like to know what you're thinking about all of this. I'd say check out the replay, but the whole video is pretty much a replay, so we don't need to do that. Anyway, she's a subscriber of Sensei. Oh, well, okay. Okay, yes, Driver Sensei. Yeah, he's a good guy. So anyway, I'd like to know what you think about all of this. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.